Now, there is something else that we have to address
and
this
now for
week.
something a little different, we have the Olympics in rugby.
Whoa! Yes, the second ever iteration of the 7's in the Olympics.
Yeah.
This is very, very exciting. I'm delighted that this is going ahead, and this is going to be the huge rugby story of the week after the Lions.
Yeah.
We've got a whole week of
Sevens
a Class 7's tournament in which a medal winner will be decided, and it's a mad old dynamic. Delighted to say that Ireland are in there among the 12 teams. The Ireland men's team managed to get in, and for well worth their place. They have an electric superstar in Jordan Conroy.
They do. They have a really good rugby player in Terry Kennedy. They have a lot of good qualities all over. They have the best goal kicker in the game in Billy Daragh going on right now. So I'm excited for their chances. But it's 12 really good quality teams. We have the pools here. Obviously, it's going to start with the men. It starts this Monday, I believe. The men's tournament kicks off Monday, June 26th, and wraps up then with the bronze and gold finals on that Wednesday. So it's just 3 days, and then on Thursday through Saturday, the women are playing as well. So just starting with the men, we have Pool A is New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, and South Korea. Then Pool B is Fiji, Great Britain, Canada, and Japan. And Pool C is South Africa, USA, Kenya, and Ireland. It's all very good teams, to be honest. And I think it's such a tight format. Like, there's 12 games on day one, so you play 2 of your pool games on day one. It's going to come down to who's hot or who's not. Like, it is,
and it's different even from a normal tournament which takes place over 48 hours. It's a little more spaced out, so there isn't those 3 tests in a day dynamic, which I think, from my own biased point of view, probably suits the Irish boys. It's less likely for them to get gassed, etc. It's very, very difficult to know exactly what's going to come of this. You've never had a 7's competition where the teams are going in more cold and blind than this, because they haven't been able to do the 7's World Series.
It's true.
Which is,
it's very affected
it's
by
a real
COVID.
shame. It's one of the best sporting formats in any sport in the world, and it just so happens to be drastically affected by COVID.
Yeah, it's totally non-conducive with the COVID world. They're literally hopping from plane to plane into amazing location to amazing location, going to Vegas one week, Dubai the next, they're jumping around the globe, playing
all mixing together, and it's just awesome. And it's important to remember as we try and emerge from the pandemic that the things that have become wrong are so right, and 7's is one of them. It's going to be great to see it back in action, and it's hard to know. Are the Springboks going to be the guys? Are Fiji going to be the guys? That Fiji squad is looking pretty good. The usual characters, Jerry Tuai, only with a Ranradra dropped in there.
Parachuted in there to help them out, as he was the last 4 years ago. The Fiji are incumbent medal winners, having won their first ever Olympic medal, I believe, in the 7's 4 years ago. So they are going to be defending this tournament. But it really is anyone up for grabs. Like, the USA have quality players. We know Carl Niles, Perry Baker, serious wheels on the USA team. Similarly, Kenya are no mugs. They've been a coming force for many years.
They kind of tapered off recently, having been in very explosive fashion.
Collins and Gira got a little bit older and lost a step of pace, and so they did as well. New Zealand never to be written off in the 7's as well.
Far
always
from
competitive. Great Team GB, because England are bloody good as well, and Wales and Scotland have decent players. So Team GB should add up to a good collection of 7's players. Australia as well, Argentina, all dangerous. So It's really who hits the ground running and who shows form. This is why I kind of like our chances, because Ireland had to go through that rigmarole of qualifying in the tournament in wherever it was, Monaco, a few weeks ago, where they just beat that France team. So they're probably a little more match sharp than all these other teams, because all of the 7's heads have been scattered to the 4 wins. Some of them being MLR, being picked up on temporary contracts. Some of them popped up in that Bermuda 10's tournament that happened during the pandemic.
The future of rugby.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. The past of rugby now. So a lot of these guys are, while we know them and we've watched the 7's before, it's just going to be who takes the field in a sharp and ready way on day one, and doesn't, because you can't win the tournament on the first day, but you can kind of lose it for yourself.
Oh, of course
That's
you
the
can.
way it is.
Yeah, of course you can. So who hits the ground running? It's going to be a fun dynamic, but definitely these are just going to be great games to watch. the Japanese time zone isn't too conducive to watching Ireland.
No.
I think we kick off at 3 a.m. on either Monday. I think it's the Monday.
Yeah.
And then 10 a.m. I'll get the 10 a.m. one in.
Yes.
But the 3 a.m. one not so much.
I think 3 a.m. one is us against South Africa is our first one, very, very early, and then later on I think we have the USA later that day.
Oh jeez, that's a fun 2 games
tough
to start
with. And then Kenya plus
the
whatever
make or
qualifying.
break. I mean, we like our chances until we lose those first 2 games.
If you lose those 2 games, you're done anyway.
Over.
Like your chances in that. As it stands now, before a ball is kicked, we could win the thing.
Yeah, 2 minutes into game 1 could be a different story.
Over already. Yeah.
I don't know who I like for the winnings of it. I'd love to see our boys go well. I think Jordan Conroy is a superstar. I think we can. Terry Kennedy's an excellent player, and they just have a really good dynamic as a squad. So I'm not going to write our boys off at all.
No.
Team GB are not to be underestimated either. They're well put together for us and will be in the mix for the medals. And Fiji, the reigning champs.
I'm pretty much ready to say I don't think Korea will medal. That's the only certainty.
That's as far as we're going.
Yeah.
There's also the women's tournament, which begins a little afterwards.
Yeah, that begins on Thursday, I think, or is it?
Yeah.
Or no, begins on Friday actually.
Begins on
Friday and ends on Sunday. So there's
nice.
a little gap.
Yeah. And the 12 teams involved are New Zealand, Russia, Great Britain, Kenya.
That's Pool A.
Then there's Canada, France, Fiji, and Brazil.
Pool B.
And Australia, USA, China, and Japan.
And Pool C.
Yeah, good diversity to that list. A few non-traditional rugby nations, and it should be a good battle over there as well.
That's true. Yeah, the women's 7's is another growing sport.
They're
as well.
great. They're great to watch, the 7's games. I wouldn't claim the same expertise that we have in watching normal rugby, but they're just fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
Free flowing, space attacking, speedy, class rugby with a
some
wonderful atmosphere.
Cool technical elements. Like I like the way the guys ruck. They have to keep their feet, but it's normally only one player in the ruck.
It's a wrestling match in there.
Grappling thing. The lineouts, the dynamics of shortened lineouts and shortened scrums. Some teams are really good at it. Others kind of don't prioritize it. The idea of the drop kick, the drop kick is hugely dialed for Billy Daragh is a great proponent of it. But then you see Fiji play, and they make it not about that, so they don't even worry about it. Like unless they score under the posts, they don't tend to get the conversion because they just kind of chip it and drop.
The restarts is where the drop goes are so important, though. One of the great dynamics of 7's rugby is that when you score, you kick the restart, which allows you a huge element of control. In theory, it's because possession's so important in the game that you want to give the team who didn't score the advantage of possession. But with modern restarts,
if you get enough hang time and you get a tall man up there, you can win that ball back.
And you can own the ball for the whole game.
The only way I see us beating Fiji is if we score, recover, and don't give them the ball.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So it's just there's a lot of fun to this, and it's going to be very, very exciting to see our great sport, or at least some iteration of it, at the Olympics.
And it did wonders for the sport 4 years ago. You see the growth in the game in the US since, because it's an Olympic sport. It thrusts these eyeballs in, and obviously you see teams like Russia in the women's game as well, China in the women's game. These are like Olympic juggernauts that are now taking an interest in rugby because it's an Olympic sport. So that's just exciting for the growth of the game. It's another avenue for more eyeballs on rugby.
Absolutely, no question. So that was the Olympics. We're also going to look...
Ireland.
Come on, Ireland is right. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you enjoyed that video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And hey, if you have an opinion of your own, if you disagree with what we're saying, leave a comment down below. We might just get back to you.